Hey there, Fable Babies. Before we dive into today's show, I wanted to let you know that if you want to be a part of an upcoming Storytime episode, to give us a call at the Storytime hotline. The phone number is 323-741-1873. Leave us a message. Tell us a story. Tell me what you think about the podcast. Just breathe heavily into the phone like a creep. Whatever you want. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Make sure that you say that you're an official Fable Baby, and we'll pick some of our favorite clips and include them in upcoming episodes. Once again, that's 323-741-1873. Enjoy the show. Hello, my little Fable Babies, and welcome to Storytime, the holy grail of great stories from around the interwebs, brought to you by iHeartRadio and Collab. I'm your host, Will Bargain Bin McFadden. On today's episode, we are breaking the rules. We're going rogue. We're not sticking to any particular theme, okay? Screw it. We're just picking stories that are super awesome and don't really fit in anywhere else. Kind of like me. Oh, that's kind of sad. Anyways, in keeping with the miscellaneous spirit, I am currently sitting outside on my front lawn, surrounded by many of the personal treasures I have collected in my 2 years on this earth, in what I might dare to call the greatest garage sale of all time. It's got tchotchkes of every shape and size, my souvenir keychain collection from all of my trips to North Dakota, barely stained t-shirts, 6 Reba McEntire hats, and single-serving slices of lasagna made by yours truly. You know, just in case our shoppers are feeling a little peckish while perusing all of my gently used treasures, and literally everything that Trollop Sheila left in what used to be our happy home after she ran off with Hal, the snake milker. Which, actually, I hate to say it, is like a pretty cool, badass job. It's this like highly specialized area where humans extract venom from... Oh my god, you guys, I think we've got our first customers of the day. Okay, I'm gonna go greet them. You guys sit tight and enjoy a story from one of the most random variety acts out there. I'm gonna go work my sales magic on them, and then I'll be back to tell you about the milking of the snakes. Hello, and welcome to my cabinet of curiosities. Can I interest you in a piping hot slab of lasagna?
I'm Sam Kaufman.
I'm Joel Oenger.
And I'm Ben Tillis.
And we're the
Human Fountains.
And this is the story of how we got on America's Got Talent by, well, spitting water. The story starts off years ago in Denver, Colorado. We actually all went to high school together there. And there was a talent show that we decided to enter for our senior year. Now, we wanted to go out with a splash, pun intended. So we decided, let's choreograph ourselves spitting water to opera music. Kind of think Bellagio fountains, if you will. So we do it. We're practicing in the cold, snowy Colorado weather. And put something together we're pretty happy with and go perform it. After the performance, it actually got a pretty good reaction.
We won the talent show.
We won the talent show. So we decided, let's tape it a little bit nicer. So we did and put it on YouTube, and that was about it for the time being. After that, we all graduated, went to different schools, and that was the end of Human Fountains. Fast forward 8 years later. At this point, we're all living in LA, and we've all moved out here for different reasons, and we realize we're all out here, and we say, hey, let's move in together. So we do that, and one night we're watching old YouTube videos, and we decide, hey, let's watch that old spitting video of us. So we watch it, we get a kick out of it. That was the end of it, though.
So I was working an investment banking job at the time, and I was bored out of my mind all day staring at spreadsheets. I was just not having fun. So I filled the day going all over Reddit. I spent hours on Reddit looking at different videos and different memes. I was obsessed. And I finally decided, why don't I post something on Reddit? I check a few hours later, and sure enough, it has some upvotes. I am so excited at this point. Just the fact that other people are seeing this old video brought me so much joy. I text Sam and Joel and say, Hey guys, I posted our video on Reddit and it's actually doing kind of well.
I got the text. I don't really get Reddit. I didn't think it was a big deal at all. Then I get another text from Ben that says, guys, our video is #1 on Reddit. I still don't get Reddit. This literally means nothing to me, and I just don't care one bit.
I am freaking out. I'm running all over the office, telling my colleagues. All they could tell me was to enjoy my 5 minutes of fame.
It didn't really hit me till the next day when we woke up and overnight it had got 500,000 views. At that point, we're thinking, okay, maybe there's something here. And we start getting reached out by people on the internet and also by television shows. One of which was America's Got Talent asking us if we wanted to audition for their next season. Now, none of us watch America's Got Talent religiously. Of course we've heard about it, but we decide, let's go watch an episode and see what this is all about. And we quickly see that they sometimes put acts on there that are very bad. And the whole point is just for entertainment. They get X'd out real quick. If you get 3 X's, you don't get to continue your act, but it's a lot of fun for the audience. And we decide, yep, that's what they want us for. But we are totally okay with that. The fact that we get to be on TV for spitting water at all is incredible. So we're like, this is obviously a joke to them, but we're going to give it our all. So we start rehearsing, and we rehearse hard. We go out on our driveway every day and start blasting opera music and start choreographing a spitting dance to our song. And we're doing this day in and day out. And our neighbors walk by us and they just see a bunch of grown men spitting water and just give us these looks. We still have this reputation in the neighborhood. They just all think we're crazy. I don't blame them. We're doing this and we realize, well, spitting water is one thing, but we still need to figure out a way to shock everybody. So I come up with the idea of, instead of just spitting water out, why don't we also pass water to each other by spitting it into each other's mouths?
Now, at the time, like I said, I was working an investment banking job. So the last thing I wanted was for them to see me on TV swallowing someone else's spit.
When I heard this idea, I thought, no way am I going to be spitting water into my friends' mouths. I hate germs. I don't even like shaking hands. Passing water, disgusting.
Well, after a lot of convincing, and I mean a lot, we finally got past and decided to do it. We even decided last person would swallow it.
I even kind of started to like it.
And it became this thing where we just became numb to it. It didn't faze us after a while. But we really put a lot of work into this act and decided, we should also wear tuxedos when it comes to the day of our performance. That would be funny. It's finally the day of our AGT audition. We show up there, and none of us have ever been on TV or have any performance experience at all. And this was a huge set. And we just feel so out of place. You got dancers, you got singers, you got 5-year-old singers. The only thing better than a singer is a 5-year-old singer. And then you got us. People ask, what do you guys do? We would just say, we spit water. We'd get a weird look, and that was about the end of it. We waited there all day, and it was finally our turn to go perform. Instead of just going out and performing, we decided we were going to give it a little twist. We go out there and all the judges are there. Simon, Mel B,
Heidi Klum,
Howie Mandel,
and the host, Tyra Banks. And we introduced ourselves. Instead of human fountains, we did
Fontane Umane,
which is the Italian for human fountains. And we make it sound like we are big music lovers and we're about to sing this big opera song. So that's what they're expecting. We go out there, music starts, we start spinning. We are just hoping they let us through the whole act without us getting 3 X's so that we can at least get to the end. We start performing it, and it's just a blur. None of us have really ever performed before. And within 30 seconds, we hear a big and we look up, and Simon has given us a big red X. We're thinking, okay, we knew this was going to happen. Let's hopefully just get to the end. Miraculously, we make it to the end, and to our astonishment, we get a standing ovation. The crowd has loved it. The judges, except Simon, are standing up. They love it. And they send us to the next round. This is as good as it could get for us. We thought it couldn't get any better. But then the host, Tyra Banks, comes out and starts spitting with us. She just improvises a whole dance with us, and we're all spinning together. And at one point, I even motioned for her to spit in my mouth. And she does! Tyra Banks spat into my mouth! Best moment of my life!
Sam has not brushed his teeth since that happened.
His dad says this is the proudest he's ever been.
So, we get off the stage, and the other contestants are congratulating us and saying, "We can't wait to see what you got for your next act." And it hits us then. We don't have another act. All these other groups have been performing for a lifetime. We've just made this act up for this one performance. Now we've got to start from scratch again. So we go and start from the beginning. We go in our driveway and we start spitting again to a new song, but we realize we can't just do the same thing. We got to spice it up a little bit. Everybody knows water comes out of our mouths. What else could come out of our mouths? And we decide to add a storyline to it, and we tell the story of a man waking up in the morning, going through his morning routine, and eating breakfast. Yes, breakfast. And by breakfast, we mean an egg. And there's a part in it where water's coming out, and then there's a reveal somebody has an egg come out of their mouth. They take it out, they crack it into the mouth next to him. He swishes it, and then spits it to the next guy, who adds salt, and then spits it to the last guy, who swallows it. Bon appetit.
It is as gross as it sounds. And the first time we spit water in each other's mouths, I was pretty grossed out. Now we had to add an egg to it. So imagine when you eat something and immediately when it touches your mouth, it makes you want to throw up. Now imagine doing that 100 times and that thing that makes you want to throw up is coming to you from your friend.
And eating the egg's hard, but the hardest part was my job. I had to crack the egg without any other tools right over someone's mouth. My hands were trembling because I was so afraid that if I missed by just an inch, the egg would be all over Sam's face and we'd mess up the act.
So we go back to the ADT auditions a few weeks later. And if you thought we fell out of place the first time, now we really fell out of place. Everybody that is left is very, very, very talented. And then there's us. Well, it comes time to perform. We go out and we do our thing. And to our surprise, we get through again. We underestimated how grossed out people would get by the egg. We just kind of become numb to it at this point. But we got through. We're super excited. And we go backstage and somebody says, "Congrats, guys. Can't wait to see what you guys do for the next round." And then it hits us again. We don't have any more acts. So we got to go back to the drawing board and come up with another act. The next round is the quarterfinals. And it is a live event that takes place at the Dolby Theater. The same place they have the Academy Awards. And you've got us, who will be spitting on the floor. And the best part is, after we spit, they have a whole crew come out and they clean up after us. We got such a kick out of that. So we start rehearsing again, and we're in our driveway, and we decide, what other surprises can we do? We're brainstorming. Well, we could have a goldfish come out of your mouth, but can't do that on NBC, apparently. We even looked into blowing fire, but NBC wouldn't let us do that as well when they found out I learned how to do that just 2 weeks prior. So we decided to go with the hot dog. And this big reveal would be a hot dog coming out of somebody's mouth. They put it into a bun and hand it to the next person, who spits mustard onto it, who hands it to the next person, who spits ketchup on it, and then to the last person, who eats it with a smile. Delicious. I'll tell you, a hot dog coming out of everybody's mouth tastes the same as a regular hot dog. Still delicious. They've brought out all the stops for the quarterfinals. They give us our own choreographer who has no idea what to do with us because none of us can keep rhythm and we're not dancing at all. So we don't know what to do with it. And they also have pyros. They've given us customized tuxedos. It's finally the day of the performance. We go, we perform it, and it goes well, but unfortunately, we were eliminated. Well, we thought that was the end of our water spitting days. Turns out that wasn't the case. Apparently, America's Got Talent is a pretty big show that's seen all over the world. And apparently, almost every country has its own Got Talent show. France has Got Talent. Germany's Got Talent.
Slovakia's Got Talent.
Romania's Got Talent.
We start going to all these different talent shows and performing there. We do 2 years of traveling, performing across the world. You have not lived until you've tried a burek in Romania, because those are delicious. Well, we're doing this and traveling and decide, well, okay, there's something here. So we decide to create a full hour show, and we start performing that regularly in Los Angeles. And had been doing that ever since. Until, yep, you guessed it, something called COVID-19 comes along. Now, as you can imagine, the coronavirus was not great for the spitting industry. So we had to pause our live performances. But these days, we are on TikTok. We actually just celebrated hitting 1 million followers, so we were very excited about that. But once the coronavirus dissipates, you can expect we will be spitting live again. So next time somebody tells you, you don't have any talent, why don't you tell them the story of human fountains?
What a weird random ride. You know, I actually auditioned for America's Got Talent a few years back with my rhythmic gymnastics routine to I Will Always Love You. But the producers cut me because apparently my unitard showed too much moose knuckle. Lame. Hopefully those guys get vaxxed and can get back to swapping spit real soon. Follow Human Fountains for some truly one-of-a-kind content. Links in description. Okay, so it was a false alarm. They weren't shopping. They were just Jehovah's Witnesses. But they did almost buy one of my sad clown cross stitches. Well, I mean, they eyed it. But they eyed it like a lot. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, snake milking. Hal, the dickhead, his job. That's right. Okay, so it's this highly specialized area where humans extract venom from snakes and other reptiles which produce venom that could cause illness and death. And then that gets shipped out to research labs. And they use that to create treatments and cures.
Hey, can I ask you a question about the...
Not now. I'm kind of busy.
But I was interested in buying that shake weight.
Excuse me, sir. I am in the middle of something right now.
Oh, okay.
Jeez, man. Read the room or the yard, you know? Okay, so I guess venoms have been used to treat blood clots, combat blood pressure, and reduce heart attack risk. So I guess, Hal is kind of helping save lives when he's not busy wrecking homes. Man, I hope he gets the feistiest of all the feisty snakes one day, and that snake senses his sins and then makes him pay. You know what? I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Maybe I am. No, I'm not. I'm definitely not kidding. In fact, I am dead serious. Okay, wow. It's got a little dark there. I think my blood sugar is getting a little low. I probably need to have a slice of that lasagna to help me get back on my garage sale game. Luckily, my secret ingredient is sugar. Okay, enjoy a story from Cold Game Kelv, a.k.a. Brother Nature, while I slam this slice of sweet, sweet lasagna. Can really taste the Splenda.
I remember back in 2018, I was scrolling through my email and I saw that my old school district had contacted me in order for me to come and speak to my old high school. And I remember being hella excited, like, hell yeah, I would love to talk to the kids. Like, that's the main reason why I do all of this for. So I remember I sent the email over to my management. We get all the flights and stuff squared away. And as we're getting all the details hashed out, I think to myself, I'm like, damn, like, how can I pull up and wow the kids or give them something that they've never seen before? So I couldn't help but notice that on my flight from New York to Killeen, I had to stop in Houston. So I went on my Instagram, I started doing some research, and then I found some exotic car rental places, and I hit them up to see if I could, like, rent a Ferrari or something. They hit me back, they told me they were fans, and we got it all squared away. So on my flight from New York to Killeen, I stopped in Houston, and I got off the plane, and the first thing I did was run to the car exotic rental place because I knew I had to go speak to the kids by like 12 p.m. after their lunch and I had landed in Houston by like 10 a.m. So I meet the dudes. We start talking about like each other's stories, da-da-da. And in the back of my head, I'm just like trying to hurry up and just get in the car because I got to go to Killeen and I got to make it to like, you know, speak to the kids on time. So we're talking, yada, yada, yada. We're making videos in front of the car so they can use for promotion. And then they show me like a contract in front of me. And then it says that I only have like 100 miles a day that I could put on the car. And keep in mind that Killeen is like 360 miles away. And it's about like a 2 or 3 hour drive. So I'm like, man, fuck it. I signed the paper and they were like, by the way, what high school do you go to? And I told them that I went to a high school that was like 10 minutes down the block, but I had to like hurry the hell up because, you know, they booked me and I needed to go talk to the kids. I couldn't miss them after lunch. So I remember, boom, I get in the car and I start speeding to Killeen. And while I'm on the way there, I get caught in like a speed trap. I get pulled over. The officer's like, oh, did you know you were speeding in a da-da-da zone? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm sorry, but, you know, I just got this car. I got to go talk to the kids. If you could just please let me go. I got a ticket. But anyways, I was finally able to make it to my old high school just in time when the kids got out of their lunch. And I'm able to give my speech, share my story in the auditorium for like the next 2 or 3 classes. It's a great time. We all taking pictures and stuff afterwards. Then we go outside and all the kids are taking pictures by the car and stuff. You know, everybody's happy. I remember like I had like the old high school janitor get in the car, drive the car, let him spin around the block. Then afterwards, I went to like all my old homeboys' houses. I let them drive the car. You know, it was just like a really good time. We were just spreading a lot of joy. And as I was wrapping up my rounds of like sharing the car with everybody that I knew, I made my last stop at my old best friend's house, which he was away at college at the time. But I went to stop by to go see his mom to let her drive the car. And as we're driving the car, my check tire light comes on. And she's like, yo, Kev, your check tire light just came on. You should go get this checked out, you know, before you do anything else. I'm like, you're right, Mom. Let me go get it checked out. So I go to this Jiffy Lube, which is like right across the street. And as I pull into the Jiffy Lube, there's this kid that I used to have a class with, and he's like hella excited to see me. He's like, yo, what up, bro? Da-da-da. I let him know that my check tire light came on. If he could check the tires for me and pump them up, that would be awesome. And he's like, don't worry, bro. I got you. So I go inside. I run into an old classmate. We start talking as well. And then they come and grab me, and they're like, yo, Kev, your car's all ready to go. So I'm like, all right, bro, how much do I owe you? He's like, oh, bro, don't even trip. Just spin me around the block, and I got you. And I was like, shoot, all right, bet. That's what I got the car for anyway, you know, just to spread the joy. Boom, I spin him around the block, and then when we get back, I got the manager and another worker just standing there with like their arms crossed, and they're like, yo, Kev, there's actually something wrong with the car. If you see right here, they point to the ground. There was an oil spill. They were like, yeah, oil's leaking out of your engine. If you want, we could check that out for you. So I'm like, shoot, all right, bet. Like, let's get it checked out. So I go back inside the Jiffy Lube. I'm kind of just chilling, talking to my old classmate once again. And then when they're done checking the car, they ask me to come outside and they tell me every single thing that's wrong with the car. Well, the first thing was that the oil that leaked out of the car was a shift gear oil, basically meaning that at any time that I was driving the car with the shift gear oil leak, it could have just stopped in the middle of nowhere with no type of warning. And, you know, I could have just been stuck wherever I was at. And the second thing that was wrong with the car, which is like a super major issue, was that the plate that holds up the engine had sheet metal screws, which are basically like the cheapest screws that you can buy. And at any time, that plate could have just fell from the bottom of the car and rammed whoever was driving behind me. You know, God forbid, it could have just caused like a crazy accident and the engine could have fell out. So it was like a huge red flag that I should not have been driving that car. So I remember I'm like, damn, man, like that's fucked up. Like that is not cool. Like my life was in danger this whole time and I had no clue. But I'm like, all right, bet, it's no big deal. I'm just gonna drive the car back to my hotel and I'm gonna have the rental company call AAA, get it towed, and get it sent back to Houston. No big deal. And as I'm pulling out of the Jiffy Lube, you know, like there's basically like a highway or like a long ass road right in front of the Jiffy Lube. As I pull out, my car kind of just stays stuck as soon as I pull out. So I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm stuck in the middle of the road. I'm able to turn the car on just enough to get it parked back in the Jiffy Lube. And I remember that I have like a dinner that I gotta go to with some like family and friends in like an hour or so. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'm gonna just leave the car here at the Jiffy Lube and, you know, it'll just get towed from here. No big deal. But this is where I mess up. So I leave the car parked in the Jiffy Lube, and out of like rush and kind of frustration, I leave the key on the tire of the Ferrari. And I tell the Jiffy Lube worker, I'm like, yo, bro, I'm about to leave the car here. AAA should be here any second now. I left the key on the tire. Whenever they come, just make sure you give them the key and, you know, have them tow the car, have them figure it out. I got to go to this dinner. Boom, I go to the dinner. I'm living my life, catching up with my family and friends. We're having a good time. And I remember we wrap up the dinner and I go back to my hotel. Remember, I'm just chilling. And then the rental car worker calls me. He's like, yo, bro, AAA's on the way if you want to go back to the Jiffy Lube and see where the car's at. I'm like, all right, bro, bet. So boom, I get in an Uber. And as I pull up to the Jiffy Lube, I'm on the phone with the car rental worker dude. And I'm like, yo, bro, did AAA pull up? Because the car's not here. And he was like, what you mean the car's not there? And that's where I knew I fucked up. I was like, oh, shit. I was like, hold on, bro. Let me call you right back. He's like, what you mean? Let me call you right back. I remember I hung up the phone and I just started making like calls immediately. The first thing I did was call the cops. I was like, yo, somebody stole like a red Ferrari out here in Killeen. Can you make sure you try to go out there and find it? Then I go on my Twitter because at the time, my Twitter has a lot of pull at the time, and I feel like it was the fastest way to get my message out. So I remember I tweet out, I'm like, yo, anybody out here in Killeen, Texas, see somebody driving in the red Ferrari, it's stolen, hit me up. So boom, I go back to my hotel. I'm making all these calls. I'm on the phone with the police. While I'm on the phone with the police, I'm looking through my Twitter, through my Instagram DMs, just trying to find out who the fuck has this Ferrari. And thankfully, by the grace of God, I was going through my DMs and I saw somebody that I used to have as an old Facebook friend message me talking about, yo, bro, we just saw you in traffic, you all right? ? So I'm like, oh, snap. I remember I hit him back instantly. I'm like, yo, bro, call me right now. ASAP. That wasn't me. I call him. I get him on the phone. He was like, yeah, bro, we saw you in front of the hospital with your hazard lights on. We were trying to help you because you seemed like you was stuck. And, but yeah, bro, as soon as we pulled up to the window, you just drove off. So I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, bro, that is crazy. Remember, I called him. I tell all my homeboys to go out to the street, try to find whoever has the red Ferrari. And while I'm doing this, one of the police officers calls me back, a different one. And he's like, sir, we don't know what you're talking about. Your Ferrari's right here at the Jiffy Lube. And I'm like, man, what the heck? So I remember I get in the Uber, go back. I see the Jiffy Lube parked exactly where it's at. The key is exactly where it's at, but the engine is hot and it has raindrops all over it. I'm like, man, what the heck? So at first, when I got there on the scene, the cops didn't even believe that the car was stolen. They just began to question me, and it wasn't until my friend that had hit me up on the Instagram DM, it wasn't until he got to the scene and he was able to explain that he did see somebody else in the car and that it was being driven moments right before the Jiffy Lube and that it was not me driving the car. And then basically when I saw him, I remember I had videos of the Jiffy Lube workers all explaining like what was wrong with the car, why I had left it at the Jiffy Lube, just so I had as proof and evidence whenever the car rental company hit me up. And then we found out that it was actually one of the Jiffy Lube workers that had took the car on a joyride. It was crazy.
That Jiffy Lube dude straight up Ferris Buellered him. I wonder where he took the car on his joyride. Not gonna lie, I probably would have driven by Sheila and House Condo 5 or 6 times. Listen, if you love animals, you have got to give Brother Nature a follow. Links in the description. Woo! All right, I feel good. That sweet meat casserole has hit the motherfucking spot. I am ready to go. I'm ready to make some sales. I am ready to take on the world. It's going to feel so good to finally be rid of all of Sheila's junk. You know, I just felt like it was time. It was time to let it all go. Well, that, and I guess it was taking up too much space in the basement. And Mother is starting an erotic candle business downstairs. I'm not exactly sure what that means, and I don't know if I want to know, but if I accidentally do see what it is, I'll be sure to let all of you Fable Babies know after I'm done gouging my eyes out.
Excuse me, sir.
Got one. I bet it's because of my positive mental attitude. Hi, yes. What have you got there?
Is this deflated stuffed armadillo $45 or 45 cents?
$45, obviously.
Oh, that's
I know. I mean, I can't believe it's that cheap either.
No, I think...
If you like it, buy it. Treat yourself. It's great for snuggling with or crying into.
Well, I'd love to give it to my new puppy as a chew toy. Would you take $1?
Are you out of your goddamn mind? No, absolutely not. It's worth far more than that. This is from a tiny gas station in Texas. I got it for Sheila on our semi-annual trip to the Alamo. It's one of a kind.
I don't think that's accurate.
Oh, no, you don't? Okay, so then are you calling me a liar?
What? No.
Oh, you know what? The price just doubled, so now it's $85 to $90.
Wow, dude. Okay, I really don't think you understand how a rummage sale works.
Excuse me, did you just say rummage sale? Rummage sale? This is a backyard boutique, okay? This is an apartment store, a personal pop-up, a garage sale, not a rummage sale. Why don't you rummage your way back to your car and drive it off a cliff?
Oh my God, man, you gotta get it together.
Oh, man, that got me so worked up. People just don't understand the value in things, you know? Okay, I think I need to have another piece of calming lasagna to help me cool down. Luckily, my other secret ingredient is Xanax. Here's a story from a creator named Beer Bong John, but as you'll soon find out, that's not his real name.
All right, so I think some of us can relate to this. Some of us do not like our names that our parents gave us, so our legal name. Like my legal name is Hanna. It translates to John from Arabic. Now, the reason why I don't like it is that it is spelled Hanna. Now, my entire life, I have gone to school, doctor's offices, government buildings, airports, and everyone is expecting a woman. And then, lo and behold, I arrive, and I am very clearly a man. So that's always fun to deal with. But this is actually a story time on a day where my legal name actually really helped me out. So I was driving from Phoenix to Tucson, Arizona. I was born and raised in Tucson. My dad and I were driving. My dad told me to kind of drive faster, and of course I listened. I think I was 19 at the time because we had a family function we had to get to, and we were, short on time. So I was speeding, and I really was tailgating someone. My father had fallen asleep. Because I was tailgating someone, I actually ended up getting pulled over. I have many friends that are cops. And one thing that they told me that they absolutely cannot stand is when the passenger of the vehicle is very rude and obnoxious. Not necessarily just the driver, but especially the passenger. Now, my dad is a very, very strong-willed individual, and he will do anything to protect me, and he will try to help a situation even when he's actually making it worse. So the cop comes up, asks me for license registration. My dad instantly was just like, "Why'd you pull him over?" And I was even shocked, like, "What?" And the cops looked at my dad and said, "Excuse me?" He goes, "He was doing nothing wrong. Do you have a quota to meet or something?" And they just started going at it back and forth, and the cop was getting very frustrated. I'm trying to get my dad to shut up because he's making the situation worse. I'm a very calm person, very chill. I knew I was in the wrong. So I was just thinking, well, maybe I can just get the minimum ticket and I would be fine. But no, my dad had to just keep talking and running his mouth. And it got to the point where the officer just got fed up, asked me to exit the vehicle, told my dad to stay in there, and we went to the officer's police car. So while we're there, we're walking to his police car, he says, your dad's got a lip on him. And I was like, yeah, I know. Trust me, I know. And while we're there, he reviews the license registration, and he just looks at my license and looks at me and says, Hannah. And I said, no, it's Hannah. Yeah, I know. And he goes, how'd you get that? And I just looked at him and said, well, my dad's a dick. And the cop looked at me, looked at the license, and then kind of looked over at my dad and said, yeah, I can see that. I want you to sit tight. I'll be right back. And he goes in his police vehicle. And I'm, just standing there waiting, just thinking, all right, what kind of ticket am I going to be in for, et cetera, et cetera. And he comes back. He says, well, you know what, son? I'm going to give you a warning. And I think to myself, oh my God, like, really? And I don't know what I was thinking, but I asked, why? And he just straight up looked at me and said, well, I know with that name you must have had a really hard time growing up. And because of the way your father is, I'm going to let you go today. You have a nice day. And so I walked back to my car with my dad, and I get in, and my dad said, well, and? I said, well, he's giving me a warning. And I was like, you want to know why? My dad looks at me and says, well, why? I said, well, because you named me Hannah, and he thinks you're a dick. And my dad stopped for a second and just kind of paused and said, well, there's either that or Sue. For those that don't know, that's a Johnny Cash reference to his song A Boy Named Sue. And I guess my dad was going through a Johnny Cash stage when I was born or something. I don't know. And then he paused again and just said, well, you're welcome. Now drive. We're running late. Hurry up. And that's it. That's how I got out of a ticket, because of my legal name. So turns out, I guess it's not so bad after all.
What's in a name? That which we call a beer bong by any other would smell as skunky. I think the reason why that cop was so understanding is because his legal name was Officer Leslie Mangina. Give Hannah, a.k.a. Beer Bong John, a follow on TikTok and Instagram, and check out his aggressively single merch. It's actually...
Is that lasagna?
Yes. Would you like a slice? It's on the house. I've got a lot left. Nobody wants any for some strange reason.
Well, it is 9:30 a.m., but honestly, what time isn't a good time for some tasty lasagna?
Right? My thoughts exactly. I like the cut of your jib, sir. Here, take this, the biggest piece.
Thanks.
You look awfully familiar. Are you like a weatherman on local TV or something?
Nah, I just got one of those faces.
Are you sure? I could swear.
Yep, positive. If I had $1 for every time someone thought they knew me, I'd have well over enough money to buy this gorgeous swan soap dish. What a beauty.
Oh, is that what that is? An antique soap dish, huh? Yeah, my ex-wife used it as a ranch dressing bowl.
Ex-wife?
Yeah.
Well, just the way you said it, I can tell that it's pretty fresh.
Coming up on the 1 year.
Hey, man, I hear you. It's rough. After my divorce, I could barely leave the house. But I'll tell you what, watched a lot of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Didn't know it at the time, but it's the best thing that's ever happened. You'll figure that out, too.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. That means a lot to me, actually. Things can feel pretty hopeless sometimes.
Well, this is a big step, getting rid of all this stuff. It'll be freeing. And you know what? I was going to try and talk you down on this swan, but I'll pay full price. Here's $72.
Oh, God, that is so sweet. You know what? Just take it. It's yours. You can have it.
Well, at least let me pay.
Nope. No, absolutely not. You have helped me more than I could put a price on. You deserve it.
Oh, wow. Thanks. And, Will, you think I could get a slice of lasagna to go?
Yeah, of course. You know what? Take the whole pan. I've already had 7 slices this morning.
See you around.
Oh, what a sweet, sweet soul. You know what? I do feel better. God, it's so nice to know that there are just good, honest people out there in this world that just want to help without any sort of self-serving agenda.
Hey, wait, where did he go?
Who?
Mark Wahlberg. You were just talking to him.
No, I wasn't. I'm pretty sure I would know if I was just talking to Marky Mark, Mother. Have you taken your medication?
No, ding dong. Mark L. Wahlberg.
Wait, what? What?
He's the host of Antique Roadshow. And Temptation Island.
What? Antique Roadshow? Oh, hell no. That ranch dressing dish must be worth a fortune. Hey, get back here.
So long, sucker.
Don't you drive away. Don't you drive away. Get back here right now.
And by the way, I'm happily married. Loser.
Hey, thanks for listening to today's episode. As always, I'd love to give a huge shout out to our storytellers, The Human Fountains, Brother Nature, and Beer Bong John. You can find links to their channels in the episode description. And since I've got you here, do you want to be on an episode of Storytime? If you have a great story to tell, record yourself telling your story and send it to storytime@collab.inc. Or call the Storytime hotline and leave us a message. That's right, we have a hotline now. Give us a call at 323-741-1873. I just made that up. And we'll share our favorites on an upcoming listener episode. Also, make sure to say that you're an official Fable Baby. Oh, you're still listening. Cool. Well, if you've gotten this deep into the episode, you might as well rate it, review it, and share it with a friend. Or an enemy. Makes no difference to me as long as I get those sweet, sweet streams. Storytime is produced by iHeartRadio and Collab. Executive producers Eric Jacks, Song King, and Will McFadden. Hosted by Will McFadden. Produced by Jessica Eccles, Jason Shapiro, Daniela Mora, and Jenny Ulmer. Written by Jenny Ulmer. Voice acting by Tom Szymanski, Tony Maddox, and Jenny Ulmer. Sound design by Tony Maddox. Original score by Scott Simons. Cover art by John Kusagaya. Animation by Bella Bouchon.